With us live in studio, federal criminal defense attorney and law professor at Emory University, Molly Palmer. And now I'd like to welcome in Chicago criminal defense attorney Matthew Fakhoury. And Matthew, thank you for joining us. I know it's your first time with us. I'd love to start with you. And one of the things I want to talk to you about is this investigator started this investigation and when Tara Grinstead disappeared in 2005. And he's talking about looking for DNA, and they could only use ink fingerprints. So at that time, they couldn't look for palm prints or sides of fingers. How significant is that, do you think, in being able to identify a suspect back in 2005?
Well, I think juries like science, and they like DNA evidence, and they like hearing about fingerprints and how scientific it is, and they feel it's reliable. So from a juror's perspective, not really necessarily my perspective, I think it's important because it will eliminate people who are not there, or it will show that certain people were actually there or could link them to being there at the scene of this alleged incident. So I still think whether it's 2005 or in today's day and age, DNA evidence, fingerprint evidence is something that jurors really eat up in today's day and age.
What great insight, because I also think, Molly, that it's important in a case like this that was 17 years ago that the jury is spoon-fed, if I were prosecuting the case, all of the evidence beginning in 2005 to get to where they are today, saying by the state Ryan Duke is the one who murdered Tara Grinstead.
Right, exactly. We have to remember this is a cold case. And Ocilla, Georgia, it's a small town. It's not like these jurors have never heard of Tara Grinstead. And so you're right, Judge Ashley, the investigator has to explain to these jurors that he did anything and everything he possibly could have to thoroughly investigate the case way back then. And despite the fact that it went cold, now we know who actually did this murder. And that is what the state is trying to do with this witness.
Yeah, and using all the evidence that was there at the time and all the tools they had at the time. Matthew, do you think that this is a case that theoretically can be successful, knowing that Tara Grinstead's never been laid to rest? We do not know where her body is, nor has it been recovered.
I do think, I think it's going to be a challenge because it's basically a circumstantial evidence case, right? They don't have an eyewitness, they don't have video or audio. They do have some DNA that links people there. But the best evidence they're going to have, in my opinion, is this admission. This admission can go a long way. And Ryan Duke has to explain this, this confession, this admission, away in some way, shape, or form if he expects to be found not guilty on this. The prosecutors have, I mean, whether you have anything or whether you have nothing as far as evidence, if you have an admission, you need to drill that home to the jurors in this case. So it's circumstantial. Typically, circumstantial evidence in any case, whether it's a serious one like this or a minor case, is harder to prove. However, they do have a weapon in this admission, and they need to use that. Now, again, if he testifies, he's going to have to somehow explain this away, and that's going to be up to the jury whether or not they find it to be a credible excuse or reason that he didn't do this. But that's only for the jury to decide, not for me.
Right, and thankfully Court TV cameras in that courtroom so we can show viewers all of the evidence that this jury had to consider when they went back to deliberate. Matthew, Molly, you're going to stay with us. Coming up in our coverage of the Beauty Queen murder trial, we're going to hear more testimony from the retired GBI agent who was the lead investigator on this case for years. Stay with us.
15% off your purchase.